What's going on YouTube? This is IPSec, and we're doing Cicada from HackTheBox, which is a relatively straightforward Windows box that doesn't have a web server. It starts off with enumerating files on an open share to discover there's a file that contains the password new accounts are created with. However, without a user list, we can't really use that password, but we can do a RID brute force in order to build our own user list and then spray that password against it, and that gives us credentials to the box. We can't log in just yet, but we can use these credentials to dump more user information about the domain and discover one user has their password set in the description of their account. And this user has access to a different file share that you download the script. It's a backup script written in PowerShell, has an embedded credential. You get that, and that provides you WinRM access to the box. And this user is a member of the backup operator since the PowerShell script was a backup script. So you have the SeBackup token, and that allows you to either back up the registry or Active Directory database, both of which will lead you to administrative credentials for this box. So with that being said, let's jump in. As always, we're going to start off with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, -v enumerate versions, -vv for double verbose. This gives us things like the TTL, OA output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it Cicada, then the IP address of 10.10.11.35. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have 11 ports open. The first one is DNS on port 53, and the first thing that sticks out to me is the default banner Simple DNS Plus of a Windows domain controller. Whenever I see that, I look at the other things. We see Kerberos, Active Directory, LDAP, etc., so we know we're dealing with a domain controller. LDAP tells us the domain, which is cicada.hdb, but also there is a certificate that leaks the fully qualified domain name, which has the host name as well, the cicada-dc. So let's go ahead and add this to our host file. So sudo v etc host. And then we can add 10.10.11.35. And then I'm going to put all the variations. So we have the FQDN first, then I'll just do the machine name, and then we'll just do the domain name. You don't have to do this, but it's always just good practice on HDB machines to set up the DNS, right? So let's look through what we have. We have Kerberos, RPC, LDAP. Let's skip through the certificate. SMB, I think Kerberos, Windows RPC over HTTP, LDAP. So we're not really getting any web services. So the only place we can really start is looking at LDAP or SMB. SMB supports more like guest authentications. So that's normally where I start in this case. So I'm going to do NetExec, SMB 10.10.11.35. And then let's just list all the shares. And we get a error that user session is deleted. I'm going to just specify a account that does not exist. I always like just using a period, and this is going to make it fall back to guest authentication. And we see we authenticate and can list the shares. At least it's taking a little bit. There we go. And we have a couple shares. This is a default share. Dev and HR are the two unique shares, and we have access to read HR. So let's do an SMB client -U, and then specify a period just so we fall back to that guest authentication, then 10.10.11.35/HR, put any password in, and now we can do a dir, and we get this notice from hr.txt. Now I'm going to do a git to download it, and then we can do notice from hr.txt, and with single quotes, it actually errors out. For this, you need to use double quotes. Additionally, you can use the multi-git feature, which supports wildcards. So we could just do like the beginning of it and then a star, and then that will also download it, right? So let's go take a look at what this notice is. So if we cat it, we see, welcome to Cicada Corp. We're thrilled to have you part of the team. Your default password is this. So we have the default password, but we don't have a list of users. But we can authenticate via SMB as guest, which enables us to do the RID brute. And this is going to brute force the remote identifiers for all the users. And it's a good way just to get a user listing when you have very minimal privileges. If you're confused how this works, it uses the, I think it's a lookup name in RPC. We can do RPCLient, and we'll just do this manually really quick. We'll do -u, period, and then 10.10.11.35. And we get access denied. In order for RPCLient, I think we have to specify the domain, so cicada.hdb, and then a / because we want the password for, and then just to show the domain. I don't know exactly why that's the case, but that's how you do it with RPCLient, right? And if we do help, we can list all the like functions of this. If we just do query user, we don't have privilege to do this. This will give us a lot of information about various users. But since we're a guest, we just get access denied. We can do lookup name. So I'm going to do lookup names, administrator. And then what that gives us is the username, the SID, and then the account type, right? So 500, this is the default SID for an administrator. And we can also do lookup SID, or is it SIDs? I think it's SIDs. And then give it the full SID. And there we go. We have administrator here. And then RID brute is just going to change that last digit and go through them all. And whenever it's not unknown, it displays it, right? So I want to say it was like 16.0 something for the last user. Let's see. Right here, we have it up, 1601. So let's do 1601 there. And we see that is Emily Oscar. So that's how the RID brute works. This is just basic SID stuff. This is the unique domain identifier, and then this is the object identifier. I probably got those names wrong, but hopefully that starts to make sense. I'm guessing 8 is when the account doesn't exist. 2 will probably be a group. Let's see. I think 520 is a default. There we go. We see group policy creator owners is set for 2. And if we look up here, where is that? 20. Oh, it didn't even display it. So I don't know exactly what SID type 2 is, but you get the point of what we're doing with our RID brute force. In NetExec, if you want to go above the default, which I think is only 2000, you can just specify a number here. So we could specify 5000, and that would brute force RID 500 to 5000, right? But let's just create a list of all the users because we have a default password for the domain and we want to do a password spray. So I'm going to grab all the output and I'll do v users.text. We will paste this. And then I'm going to do a, I think it's G exclamation point. So G is going to say match multiple, exclamation point is not. So we don't want to match any, let's do type user and then do /D. So any line that doesn't have type user in it, we're going to delete. And there we go. So now let's just get it so we only have the username. So we can do %s and then .* up to the domain and delete that. And then let's delete everything after a space like that. There we go. And then these 3 accounts are default. The Cicada DC is the machine account and ends in $. Caribou TGT is the Kerberos account for signing keys, and guest is, well, the guest account. So we have a list of 3 users. So what I want to do here is go back to that notice. We're going to grab the password, and then I'm going to do nxc smb 10101135-u users.text-p, and we're going to put this password in. And now this is going to spray the password against all the accounts, and we discover that 1 is valid, and that is going to be Michael Wrightson. So let's go ahead and switch to Michael Wrightson. And then we can list all the shares because there was that dev share that we did not have access to. Maybe Michael Wrightson has access to it. And let's wait for it to authenticate, and we don't. We only have access to HR. We can do the -- users, and this is going to enumerate all the users in Active Directory, and it will also display like last password set time, bad password, descriptions, and things like that. So we have David Orelious has the description of his password here. So let's go ahead and switch to that user. So we can do David Orelious. And then we put this password. And let's look at shares. And we could have also ran Bloodhound as soon as we got a user credential to log into the domain. And I'm guessing David Orelious is going to be a member of like the dev group that gives him access to the share. There's probably something there that indicates that, right? But now we have access to dev. So let's go ahead and use SMB client again. We'll do -u. I'm going to specify the domain, Cicada, then the user, and then we'll do %. And that's not the password. Let's get rid of that. And then just make sure we copy the password here. If we don't do %, it'll just prompt us for the password on standard in. It doesn't really matter how you do it. But let's do 1010 11 35 and then the dev share. Okay, we can do dir, and there is a script called backup script. So let's go ahead and get this. And then we can cat the backup script to see exactly what it does. It's going to take the source directory of C:SMB, the destination directory of D:'backup. It's going to give the username of Emily Oscars, create her password to a secure string, and then zip up SMB and copy it to the D drive. So let's see if this password still works for Emily Oscars. So let's do SMB client, and then what was it? Emily Oscars. I think it was plural, or had an S on the end. And I don't know why I'm doing an SMB client. We should use NetExec. So let's do Emily Oscars, and then the password of whatever she had, right? And then we can just do -- shares. It's just going to make sure we authenticate and list anything out. And most likely we won't see anything because we've already accessed all the non-default shares. However, oddly enough, it doesn't say pwn, so she's not a local administrator, but she has read-write over the C drive, which that is unique. We can look at the C drive, and then we could just start looking at everything here. We could probably get the user flag probably in the desktop of Emily, I'm guessing, right? Yep, there's user.text. We could also try other authentication methods. So in NetExec, there's like Microsoft SQL, WinRM, SMB, all those things. We didn't see a Microsoft SQL port, so we try WinRM, and we get the pwned. So the user, Emily Oscar, does have WinRM access. So we can do eval WinRM -I 1010 11 35 U Emily Oscars -P, put in the password. There it is. And this should give us a shell in the box. And then the first thing I always do is a whoami/all just to see what groups we're a member of, right? And the first one is backup operators. That kind of makes sense because she was the user running the backup script. We also have remote management users. This is why we have WinRM and then a bunch of defaults, but we have the SeBackup and SeRestore privilege. And these two privileges allow us to back up files. And the quickest way is just do the SAM and system database, I want to say. So if we do Reg Save SAM, I want to say that is. Maybe it's not. Let's see. Let's open up Firefox real quick and look at exactly how to abuse this privilege. I know we can back up to, let's see, SeBackup. Well, let's just Google exploit privileges, hack tricks. And this is going a little bit slow. Windows. There we go. Abusing tokens. There we go. SeBackup. Let's see. Is there a registry command? Let's see. SeBackup token. Reg SAM. Does this give us anything? Try this. Net user. Come on. This is not it. Let's see, can I just do, oh, Reg Save /?? Let's see. Oh, Reg Save HKLM. This is it. Reg Save HKLM. SAM, like this. we do backslash? There we go. And then let's do system like this. There we go. And then we can download both these files. So we'll download the SAM and then we'll download system. And having these files, this is going to be where Windows stores the local accounts. And this won't always work on a domain controller because once you promote a machine to be a domain controller, it no longer uses the SAM registry hive to store credentials. It uses the NTDS.DIT file. That's a little bit harder to back up. We'll do that right after this. But before you promote it to a domain, it'll have the old password there. So if they don't really change the password of administrator after they make it a domain controller, then you can just get it quickly with this way, right? And this system file is going to take a little while to copy. So I'm going to Google SeBackup token. I want to say it's RoboCopy is the program we abuse. Let's see, InfoSec write-ups, maybe this. I know it's like RoboCopy/B. And there's also going to be an annoying disk shadow command we have to run. I say it's annoying because it really cares about the encoding of the file. We did this in registry 2. So if you want to see it done another way or see it done with me struggling a bit more, I'd go to registry 2. But we're going to copy the script and we're still waiting for that to finish. So I'm going to do I'll call this disk shadow.txt. And it's just a list of commands. So we're just setting the verbose mode on, setting metadata. And all this does is essentially creates a shadow drive at E:, that maps C. And that's going to allow us to access protected files. So right now I'm still waiting on that system command to finish. I guess we can do secrets dump local SAM system. And whenever we get the system hive, this command will work hopefully. So I'm going to pause the video and just wait for this copy to finish. Okay, the copy has finished. I'm going to run secrets dump and we can see we got the administrator hash. So let's go back to NetExec so we can test this out. I'll do nxc smb 10101135 then -u administrator -H so I can use the hash. And let's see if it authenticates us. Waiting on it. And there we go, pwned. So we should be able to just do like psexec -hashes, specify the hash, and then administrator at 10101135. Is it psexec.py? There we go. Requesting shares, uploading, and it's starting the service. And there we go. So let's go ahead and back up the NTDS.DIT directory, right? So let's see. What we want to do is upload the file we had just created. So we're going to do it first without converting the file so you can see the error that happens. So I'm just going to do upload disk shadow.txt, and that's going to upload the file I had just created. And let's go and run the next command. So it's talking about what each of those things does. And here we go, disk shadow, and then the file. We called it disk shadow.txt. And we see set verbose, and then it just kind of crashes out. We can see it's 240 bytes, and that's just going to be the encoding the file is. I'm going to do Unix to DOS on the file. Normally people run DOS to Unix, but there's also one in the reverse to convert it. And before we do that, let's just do xxd disk shadow. You can see how it's encoded there. Let's do Unix to DOS, disk shadow, xxd, and let's see, what did it do exactly? I believe it changed all the line breaks, which were just 0A to 0D0A. That's \r/n, I believe. So that's all that changed. It really cares about the line breaks. So let's upload the file again. And we'll see it's now 252 bytes instead of 240. We'll run this command, and it starts working. It doesn't stop at the set verbose O. It just runs through them all because it can identify all the line breaks. And then the next command we'll do is a RoboCopy. And by default, the NTDS is in the NTDS directory of Windows. And again, we set up the shadow copy of C to be at the E drive. So that's why we're doing it out of E, not C. So if we do the RoboCopy and now do a dir, we see NTDS.DIT is here. So we can just do download NTDS.DIT. And then this is also going to take some time to download because you know how long the system took. NTDS.DIT is around the same size. So I'm going to pause the video and then we will dump the Active Directory database. Okay, the NTDS.DIT has been downloaded. So we should have it right here. Let's see. There it is. So I'm going to go run my secrets dump command again. We no longer need SAM, but we do need the system because that contains, I want to say it's called the boot key that encrypts things. And it's just a key that encrypts the NTDS. And then I think it's just NTDS as the argument, right? There we go. And it's going to dump everything. So we can see administrators, hash is right here. And is that the same as what we got before? Hold on a second. Exit. Administrator 2B. That is the same hash. So let's try something real quick. So what I'm going to do is we'll eval WinRM as administrator. I think we do -H, right? Does that work? I guess we can use psexec. Let's do psexec again. Did I not have it in my history? psexec.py, hashes, then administrator at 10.10.11.35. I'm going to change the password, and then I want to download the registry file again, the SAM. So let's do net user, administrator, and we'll just change it to password 1. We'll exit out because I want to see if the SAM actually does change it. I was kind of just making things up as I go when I said that before. So let's just see. Let's go back to eval WinRM. There's Emily. Log in. Do a dir. I'm going to delete SAM. And then we'll do Reg Save HKLM SAM. And then let's delete SAM here. Download SAM. And rerun this command. And we see the administrator hash is still this 2B. So now if I went to NetExec again, NXC, SMB, 10.10.11.35, administrator, and then specify that hash, it's going to fail, right? And that's because the did what? I thought I changed that password. Net user. I bet there's a cleanup script reverting the password back. There's got to be, right? That is bizarre. Let's see. psexec.py, administrator, it's a percent at 10.10.11.35. So we can't access it. Let's rerun this command real quick. Net user administrator, password 1. I don't know what's happening here. Change me. Change me 1. Okay, that password now worked. Let's try this again. Delete SAM, Reg Save HKLM, SAM, like this. Change me 1. That's still working. Awesome. Let's delete SAM. Download SAM. Okay, we still have that hash. And there we go. It's invalid. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I think probably like every 5 minutes, the passwords may revert back to the account in case someone changed it. It doesn't break the box. But the local account in the SAM does not stay updated as it does on NTDS.DIT once you change over to domain controller. So that's going to be the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Actually, before we go, there's one thing I see a lot of people do that I always have trouble with. So I figure I will show it real quick. And if we go back to Emily Oscar, we're going to go where we back up the registry. So there is a Impacket script, registry.py. And I forget what box I did this on that I had a lot of trouble. It may have been registry 2 as well. But let's just set it so it logs in. Is it a colon? Maybe that's what I was doing wrong. Maybe it's colon, not percent on Impacket. I think that's it. Let's do 10, 10, 11, 35. And I'll put the password in quotes like this. Okay. So I have the whole user as quote. That is wrong. Hold on, let's just make sure her password is correct. I don't know why I got this Q exit. I guess I copied too much. Okay, I think the flag is backup, and then we can specify a share. So let's do 10, 10, 11, 14, 8, share. I'm going to make a directory SMB. We can go in SMB, sudo, Impacket SMB server, pwd share. I think it's the name and then that. So we can run, and it's going to hopefully start backing things up. SMB client -L. Did I script the flags? I don't think I did. Oh, we need SMB2 support. That's probably it. Let's see if this works. There we go. Now it's starting to save. The Impacket SMB server is painfully slow, and it also is prone to timeouts. So I think when it's going to start copying this system.save, it's likely going to time out and then crash. So I'm just going to see if that happens here. If it does, then you'll get the idea. And I wish I ran time on that command. Let's see. Let's cancel out of this. That's fine. Let's delete these files. Start this back up. and then I'm going to do time. So we can see how long this actually takes to copy. Because I know a lot of people would use this, and uh-oh. I wonder if it's failing because okay, there we go. Now it's running. So I'm going to pause the video and we're going to see how long this actually takes before it crashes, or if it even can save every file. So, okay, the command has errored. We can see after about 5 minutes, we see the couldn't save the NetBIOS connection with the remote host timed out, and it doesn't save the entire system.save. We look at the size. Let's see how much it saved. Maybe it did. 18 megabytes. Let's see with this size. Huh, maybe. Let's try. secrets.dump.py, local, SAM, and then system. Looks like it did. So you could have also used Reg.Py. I just have really bad luck with this. I think we just got lucky. I don't think these are the same exact files. Let's see, MD5 sum on it. Let's do up one. Yeah, they're definitely not the same file. It just copied enough data where we could actually run our Impacket command. I bet if I ran it like 5 times, like 2 times, it wouldn't copy whatever it needs out of that system hive. But that's another way you could do it. I remember when I initially had this problem, I tried moving away from like the Impacket SMB server, just using the native Linux SMB server. I still had a lot of issues with that copy. So that's why when doing the registry backup, I always like copying it to the disk. And if there's a web service, copying the backup file to that web service directory and then just downloading with wget. Or if not, if I have like WinRM, just doing a download command like you saw in this video. So with that being said, that's going to be it. So take care, and I'll see you all next time.